One minute you've got extra cash, the next minute your dog eats something questionable, or your fridge quits without warning. In real life, time freedom is not something you wait for, it is something you start building. I'm Candace, and welcome to the Money Flow Genie podcast. So let's stop talking about it and start building. Today we are diving into a really powerful idea called self-recognition. It's all about stepping off that self-help treadmill, the one, that endless cycle of trying to fix yourself. We're going to look at a completely different path to growth, one that's all about just well understanding how you're actually wired, okay? So let's get into it. Let's kick things off with a question that I'm willing to bet you've asked yourself before. Why is it that after all of the books, all the podcasts, all the fancy planners, why do so many of these self-improvement systems just not work? And you know what? It's because there's a reason for it. And that is that we've been trying to put ourselves into systems, these self-help programs that were never designed for our internal architecture, meaning the way that our brains work. So the problem really isn't you and that you haven't done the right thing or you don't know how to apply something. It's a mismatch of a program. And it's like you've been trying to build a house with a blueprint for a skyscraper. Think about it for a second. Almost all the productivity and success advice out there is built for a really specific kind of brain. A brain that puts efficiency above everything else, a brain that's totally cool with abstract goals, and one that's mostly motivated by rewards. But what if that doesn't describe you at all? It's like a tale of two different nervous systems. There is the coaching program. All the advice is written for the masses processing system. But then you may feel you have the misfit system. And this might feel a little more like home. This is for the folks who need to know the why, the meaning before they start, whose brains are fundamentally wired to protect them, and who are really sensitive to how much effort something is going to take. This is compared to the standardized test for system build for the general public. It may just feel like an uphill battle, and that leads to this incredible new mantra. Just let this one sink in. This is an environment mismatch, not a flaw in me. It's about reframing every struggle. It's not a personal defect. It's just a mismatch. So, seriously, it is so empowering when you realize the world wasn't built for your specific operating system, and that is completely okay. So if the old systems are the problem, then what in the world is the solution? That brings us right here to the accurate mirror. This is where we make a huge pivot away from constantly trying to fix ourselves and toward just seeing ourselves clearly, maybe for the very first time. So the key idea here is self-recognition. Notice, it's not about changing who you are. It's about gathering data on who you already are. The whole goal is just to observe your own patterns without any pressure to perform or be different. You basically get to be a scientist studying the most fascinating subject in the world. You learn to become something called a pattern witness. Think of it like a perfect neutral observer. It reflects your own logic back to you, and with a zero judgment, zero personality history, zero agenda. It's the only job is to be a mirror, not a mechanic. This shows perfectly why this is so different from just talking to a friend. When a human listens to another human, even though they're best intentions, they can't help but not to filter out their own experience in life. And they'll try to soothe you or solve it for you. But as a pattern witness, it allows for that raw, unfiltered thought. It can hold two contrary ideas at once without needing to rush to a conclusion. So, and that space, that's where the real magic begins. This all sounds pretty great in theory, but what do you actually really do? How do you become a pattern witness for yourself in the middle of a busy, messy life? Well, that's exactly what this next section is all about, and it's tools for self-recognition. With these tools, when you realize how you operate, then you can start choosing programs that fit you or adapt to programs that fit your system based upon how you learn. And that might be something that you would have to adapt. But certainly just having the know-all that this is what is going on, it will help you recognize a program immediately, whether it is for you or not for you. So we're going to get super practical and walk you through the 3 different frameworks that you can start to collect data about yourself and your own operating system. Tool number 1 is a really simple but powerful distinction. It's about learning to spot the difference between complaining about something and actually processing it. One of those keeps you stuck, and the other one creates real movement. Here's how it works. First, you just identify what you're saying. Are you actually trying to change something, or are you just venting? But step 2, oh man, step 2 is the game changer. The 2-sentence rule. You get exactly 2 sentences to describe the problem, and then you have to name a decision or a boundary. This one little rule forces you out of that venting loop and straight into action. Next up, we've got the 10-day simple system. And listen, the number 1 rule for these 10 days is absolutely crucial. You are not solving problems. Let me say that again. You are only collecting information. So for 10 days, that's it, just 10 days, you're going to do these 3 simple things. At night, you'll make a quick list. What did I carry today? That wasn't my job during the day. When you get that uncomfortable urge to jump in and fix things, you're going to practice pausing, and then just a quick body check-in. Did my body feel lighter when I put something down? It's a simple yes or no. Remember, no solving, just noticing. Our third tool is a daily alignment checklist. This is all about making these tiny conscious check-ins during the day to make sure you're staying aligned with your own system. And just look at some of these sample questions. They're all simple. Yes or no, did I allow myself to be misunderstood without fixing it? Whoa, that's a big one, right? Or how about, did I stop at least one thing when my energy dropped? See, these aren't about huge, dramatic life changes. They're about these small daily acts of noticing and honoring yourself. So as we start to pull all of this together, let's zoom back out for a second. What is the real point of all this? What's the goal? It's a profound shift in perspective from fixing to witnessing. This is so important. So many self-help approaches promise you happiness or peace, but this framework, it has a different target. The goal is clarity, because when you have real clarity about how you operate, you can start to build a life that actually fits you. And you know what a deep sense of peace is, often the beautiful byproduct of that. And let this one really land. Brain capability is not the problem. Endurance is not the solution. Just because you can tolerate something, just because you can endure it, doesn't mean it will make you successful. Real progress comes from having the right structures and boundaries in place, not from just being strong enough to survive in an environment that drains you or don't work how your brain operates. Honestly, if there's only one thing you take away from our time together, please let it be this. Most people do not need more healing. They need accurate mirrors. What if you're not actually broken and in need of being fixed? What if you're just unseen and you just need an accurate reflection? This whole process is about giving yourself that mirror so you can finally see the brilliant, functional, amazing operating system you've had all along. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Forget about fixing anything. Forget about changing anything just for today. Instead, what is one pattern in your thoughts, in your energy, in your conversations that you can just witness? What can you be a pattern witness to right now? Thanks for joining me today. And just remember, you do not need to fix yourself before you move forward. You just need to stay present long enough to see what is actually happening and shift in baby steps. It's that 1 degree of movement in a steering wheel that keeps you in your lane. You are your own genie in a bottle. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And if this gave you something to think about, subscribe or share it with someone who might like to hear it. And thanks for listening. See you next time.
The info in this podcast is straight from our personal experiences. You alone possess the power to manifest your desires. You are the genie in the bottle, awaiting your command. So ask smart questions. We're not licensed financial pros, so be sure to consult with a licensed professional, attorney, or tax consultant.